name's Arwen and I'm one of the trainers here at Business Pilot. Thank you for joining us today for our first training webinar. We're just going to wait for a few minutes for everyone to join us. Okay, so thank you again for joining us today. We're going to be bringing you these live training webinars every other Friday moving forward, and this is going to help you make the most of all of the areas in your Business Pilot system. Today we're going to be focusing on the stock area. So I'm going to be showing you how to add a stock item into your Business Pilot system, how to allocate that item against one of your live contracts or completed contracts, and then we're going to discuss how you can manage those allocated stock items and even how you can be pulling reports for those from within our reports area as well. You're more than welcome if you would like to open your own Business Pilot system and you can follow along with us. Or alternatively, you can wait until later. This webinar is going to stay in the forum and be available to see on the website, so you can watch that back later. We'll be sending out all of the information on a follow-up email as well as a pop-up notification in your Business Pilot system. We'll have time for a live Q&A at the end, so please feel free to ask us your questions. This can be in the comments section, and I'll answer these at the end of this session. So let's get started. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the benefit of using your stock area within Business Pilot. So when you're choosing to use this stock management feature, it is going to be helping you moving forward to track all of those materials. So whether this be a couple of tubes of silicone, this could be 10 lengths of trim, or it could even be a UPVC half panel if this is something that you keep as a stock item. So with all of these little finishing touches, all of these are going to add up into the overall job costs per contract. Now, when you are utilising this stock management area as well, this is going to be able to help with creating those valuation reports, whether you choose to generate these quarterly or even annually. It's just going to make that financial tracking much easier. Now, plus this, it is also going to be helpful for your operations team. It's going to mean no more last minute rushes to grab those essential items, and it will help everything run just a little bit smoother. So firstly, I want to start with finding your stock area. So we're going to head into our main menu and we're looking for your stock area here. If I click on there, I'm just going to take a look at the drop down that it presents. So this is where you're going to be managing your stock levels. We're going to be allocating some stock items, and you'll see at the bottom there, you'll also have some of those stock allocation queries. So I wanted to start today by adding a stock item. So to do that, I'm going to head into my manage stock area and we'll take a look. Now, when we first access our managed stock area, for those of you like me that have already input some of your stock items, this would have pulled up a list of all of your current stock, including all of its current levels in here as well. For those of you that might be looking at a blank screen right now, that is why we're about to go through how you get adding those stock items in. The key to making this stock management work for you is going to be getting that inventory set up correctly. So let's start over in the left hand corner and we're going to be clicking on add stock item. I'm going to be keeping it nice and simple today, and I'm just going to be adding in 20 lengths of my standard white trim. So I'm going to start by putting in my supplier that I wish to source this from. Then I'm going to select the nominal code that this item applies to. I'm going to be selecting my consumables nominal code. Just underneath there, we're asking for a product code. Now, for simplicity, I'm just going to be putting in my supplier product code. If this isn't the kind of information you would have to hand when you're setting this up, a simple description in here would also work. You then have the name field, and what we're looking for here is just a brief description of what that item is. I could simply just put in here white trim if I wanted to as well. Then we do include for a location field in here also. So this could be a shelf that you might find this item on, or for some of those more larger items, it might be a particular stillage or storage area that you'd be able to find this. Now we're going to move on to setting our stock levels. So we're going to start with our current stock level. So in here, I'm going to put 20. Now my current stock value would be my 20 items and what the price is for that overall. So my current stock value total in here. Now we have a minimum stock level. Now I'm going to set this to 3. What that means is I want my minimum stock level of standard white trim to be 3 lengths. When I'm allocating against all of my contracts, when the system does hit the level of 3, this is going to prompt a notification just so the correct team member's notified when the stock is running low, meaning they can order it hopefully within plenty of time. You've then got below that a target restocking level. So this is where you would want to keep that just to ensure that all of your orders can be maintained. Normally you would aim to keep this slightly above your minimum level. So I'm going to be setting this one for 10. Then in addition to that, I'm going to add in my current item price. So I've got my price per item, and then just below there, I've got my toggle for whether this is active or not active. So it will default to yes when you are putting in a new stock item, and it is a simple yes or no toggle in there as well. Okay, so now I've input all the details that I need, and I'm going to head to the bottom corner here and click on add. And then you'll see that item here just appear within my grid view. So as well as seeing our new item within this grid view, this will also show you your nominal code, that product code, and the name we give it on here as well. Now also in that current stock value, this will give you an overall total in here as well for all of those current stock items that we have. Now this will change when we go through the process and start allocating these stock items also. And one thing I always like to point out, and this applies to all of the stock areas, you do also have that export to Excel button. So if you are someone that maybe prefers to work in Excel, then you do have that option from within this grid format also. So next, I do want to move on to allocating stock against contracts. So in order to do this, you need to be in your managed stock area, and we're clicking on allocate stock just in the top right corner here. Okay, and we're going to start with entering our invoice date. Then we're moving on to the stock item. So I'm going to click on my drop down and I'm going to find the item that I wish to allocate. So for this one, I'm going to find my item there. I'm then going to input my quantity. Then we're going to look for the contract that we wish to assign this to. Now you can click on here for the drop down and you can find the contract number that you're after. Alternatively, you can type in here the contract number if that's something that you have to hand. Okay, and then on the bottom right corner there, I'm going to click on save. Now I then also have the option to click on add another line. So if I was maybe doing this in more of a bulk format, I could go through, I could add in another line in here as well. Alternatively, I can just click remove on that one. And just underneath in the bottom right corner here, I've got my assign stock button. When I do that, it will bring me up a note within this green banner here that says one stock were assigned successfully. I can now just click on the X in the top right corner. Now I just wanted to point out here, so this is the line of the stock item that I allocated, and you'll see the current stock level has now deducted by 6. So now we know how to allocate stock, it would be really good to know where we can view all of our allocated stock within our live and our completed contracts. So to do that, I'm going to navigate back to my main menu. And I'm going to go back down into my stock menu. Now in here, you'll see that these are divided by live and all. If we look into our allocated and our live contracts, this is going to show you all of the stock that is assigned to all of your active contracts. In your allocated all contracts, this view will also include for any that are completed. I'm going to be clicking into our live contracts today. And you'll see here that's pulled me up a list of all of my allocated stock, and it includes our customer name, the contract, and it also has the addition in here of what the fit date is, what the last invoice date was, and it's also got the current contract status. To see the stock name of the item, you would just have to come a little bit further down here, and that would also show you the quantity at the very last column in here as well. A key thing I always like to note in any grid formats like this one, you can also filter any of these columns. If, for example, I did want to filter by a particular stock item, I would go to my stock name column. I can click on the three dots and head down to my filter option. And just under the box stating contains, I might want to search for a keyword. In this, I'm going to select panel. And then when I click on filter, that's going to bring me up any of my allocated stock that's relating to a panel. Again, just a reminder in here, if I am someone that prefers working from a spreadsheet, I also have my export to Excel in here as well. By clicking clear all filters, that's just going to restore it back to its original view. This area is great for visibility, just to make sure that all of those items are allocated. And again, having that fit date is really helpful just to make sure that we're on target. So now we know how to add a stock item, we know how to allocate that against our contracts, and we also know how to then see our allocated stock against our live and even our completed contracts as well. Now I want to take you through what would happen if you ran out of stock. So if you are trying to allocate stock but you don't have enough, the system is going to let you know. A team member is going to be notified, and the shortage is going to appear in the stock allocation query section. So I'm going to take us into there firstly. I'm just going to head back through our main menu, and down in our stock area, you'll find the stock allocation queries. Now from here, you will be able to see that query that's come through, and straight away, really the columns we're looking for, we've got our quantity needed and the quantity that was available at that time. Now by clicking into this query, I'll be able to see exactly how many units are needed. So I can see here that there were 5 units that someone was trying to assign, and there was only 4 items in stock at that time. Now from here, I would be able to raise a stock order for those missing items. Now it might even be that I decide to restock something in bulk. If, for example, this only required 1 additional length, because this isn't something I necessarily keep in bulk, I could just go and order that 1 length. If, however, this was something such as white silicone and clear silicone, things that I tend to keep at a higher volume, this might be the prompt that I need to then place that order in more of a bulk format. Now, when I've reordered that item, I would then be able to come in here and I can mark this query as actioned. You'll see here it says action again, and that is a simple yes or no toggle. Now, if I toggle that over to yes and I now click save, you'll see there it's got the date that it was actioned and who it was actioned by. So I would have gone in, I've raised my stock order, I've come in here just to specify that I've actioned this. Therefore, I know that this item is going to be in stock when this installation comes around. Now, raising a stock order for an allocation query is just one of the reasons why you might be looking to raise a stock order. Obviously, this is also something you would need to do in order to replenish the stock that you already have as well. So what I'll be taking us through next is how you raise that stock order. So in order to do that, I'm going to head back to my stock area, and I can raise a stock order either from my managed stock area or from my managed stock orders area. I'm going to take us into the managed stock firstly. Now you will see here you've got that raise stock order button. You also have the option to find the line of the item that you wish to replenish, and you can simply click on the plus icon here. What that's going to do is pre-populate the supplier and the item line in there as well. What I'm going to take us through today is how we raise one from scratch. So I'm going to click on the raise stock order. I'm going to select my supplier. Now, because I've selected my supplier there, you'll see that it's now giving me the drop down option for the stock items that I've got against this particular supplier. So I'm going to put in my order reference. And then today I'm going to be replenishing my white silicone. So I'm going to select my white silicone from the drop down. I'm going to amend my quantity to 20. And then I'm going to put in the total value of that order. Then I'll be clicking on the plus icon at the end. Now I can also go in and add additional items if I need to. If not, I can simply click on add and that will raise this stock order. It's also important to note this toggle here that says confirm and mark as delivered. If you are putting this order onto the system when it has already been delivered to you, then you can simply use that toggle and that will automatically put those items in stock when you click add if you have toggled that to yes. I'm going to leave mine toggled to no for now so I can take us through the process of marking them in as delivered. So I've got all my items in and I'm just going to click on add. Now, just before I move you over into the manage stock orders section, just to show you how that's marked in as delivered, I just wanted to draw your attention to this line with our white silicone to show us that we've currently got that 20 in stock. When I now go and mark this order in as received, we'll see that increase and that will reflect in our current stock value as well. So let's head back into our main menu. And I'm just going to go down to our manage stock orders. Now here you'll be able to see any past orders. If you do need to look at those, then you have the eye icon and that will allow you to see that. You'll see at the very top one here that we're still awaiting to action. It's got the option for the pencil icon, which will allow me to go in and edit it if I need to. Or it also gives me the option here to mark the tick. And by clicking on the tick, that will mark these items in as delivered. I'm just going to click on there for now, and that's going to bring me up a box just to prompt me, just so I can confirm my action. Am I sure that I wish to mark this order in as delivered and completed? And that will then put the items into stock. So I'm going to click on yes. And then I'm just going to take us back into our manage stock section, just to show us here that we've now got our current stock level is 40, and we've also got the current stock value is matching what we had on our delivery there as well. Now, I know for a lot of our users that you are emailing outside of the Business Pilot system. So what I wanted to include in this webinar today is just to show you that some of the businesses that we have are creating dedicated contracts named stock. And this way they can raise purchase orders from within that contract, which will therefore generate some PO numbers for your suppliers. And it means that you can also email these directly from Business Pilot. So I'm just going to type into my search bar at the top there, stock. And by clicking on that top contract, I'm just going to take us into our purchase orders. So just to show you in there, if you were looking to keep this all within the Business Pilot system, for now it is something that some of our companies have been raising the purchase orders from within this stock contract that they create. This way you can come in here and mark it in as delivered still, and you can be putting the invoice against this purchase order in there as well. This approach is just a way to keep these orders nice and organised, and they're easy to keep track for people that are already using our PO system as well. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanted to discuss with you all is the viewing your stock reports. Now, you can see all of your allocated stock from within inside that particular contract record as well. So that would be good for us to take a look at. I'm going to head into my main menu and back down into my stock. And now I'm going to look at my allocated all contracts. And from within this list, I'm just going to find the record I want to take a look at, and I'm going to click into that contract number. When I'm in the contract, I'm going to head over to my finance tab. This isn't going to be visible for everybody, but if you do have access to this finance tab, then we can click into there, and then we can click into our job cost tab. From there, you'll see that this is showing any of that stock that I allocated in here, and it is also showing me a total in there as well of my stock items that I allocated. Now, this is how we'll be able to report on those more individual contracts, just to make sure that we're tracking that financial visibility and we have that audit trail for per contract as well. Now, for something that's a bit broader that we talked about, that you maybe do want to be running more quarterly or annually, and there really is no limit, but what you can do is from your reports area, we'll go through our main menu, and if you are someone that has access to the reports, then you'll see that we have a stock valuation report. You can select the date of the report date on here, and you will have the option to run this either in PDF or Excel, and that will be a stock valuation report. If you're also someone that has to consider, be it, auditors coming to you, this will be a great resource for you to have, especially when you are now using that stock management. Now, one final part of the stock system that I would like to show you all is when you are in the managed stock area. If I choose to go into one of my individual items just by clicking on the pencil icon, just at the top here, you'll see that you have a tab labelled items. Now, when you first come in here, there will be a filter applied to the used column, and that's because it's looking for any that are currently there and available for stock. If I click on clear all filters, you'll see it will bring me up any ones that have also been used and the date that they were used also. It will also show me who used it, and it will show me at the bottom here as well the contract name and also the contract number. And you'll just see towards the right hand side here that you have also got a write off button, potentially if something maybe gets, let's say that it's damaged while it's on the stillage, maybe it's been there for a while, or maybe there's something that just potentially needs writing off. Then you have got the option to click on here, and it will say, are you sure you wish to write off this stock item? Now, by clicking yes, if I then go back into my live items, it will have deducted that out of my current stock level because it has been written off. Now, as well as this, you will note here that there is also a recycle bin icon towards the left-hand side there. And what that will do is delete the stock item or write off all of your stock. Now, in order to be able to do this for that particular thing, you will need to be a super admin. So certainly if you need that authorization there as well, then you would need to ask a member of the team that's a super admin. Now, I wanted to take these final few moments with you just to talk about any of you that are getting started with this stock management, or even if this is a fairly new system to you. With any new area, we're always looking for a few tips just to help get us going. I have jotted down what I think would be my first 3 things to action. Hopefully these will be of help to you. My first one would always be to do a stock take. Now, obviously that sounds very self-explanatory, but with taking note of your current inventory and your pricing is obviously the best place to certainly start. Now, you might even be somebody that's taken a look at our stock system before and maybe made a start on inputting some of that data. So it might even be that you just want to do a most up-to-date pricing inventory on those as well. My second piece of advice would be to start small. You don't have to enter everything all at once. It might be that you want to begin with your most used items, and you might want to build them from there. It's not something that you might be able to get in overnight. Therefore, I would start with those most used items and just get used to allocating those against those contracts and see how helpful that can be as well. And on the back of that, my third piece of advice would be to track your progress. So that would be anything from checking your reports quite regularly just to see the benefit of tracking those costs more accurately. And on top of that, it is going to make operations a lot smoother because there won't be any of those last minute supplier runs for your installers, having to get her half an hour earlier. So certainly a good place to start would be tracking that progress as well. By following all of these steps that we've gone over, you're all going to have much better control over that stock area, which overall will mean better costs and your overall efficiency as well when using Business Pilot. So that concludes our first training webinar. I really hope this has been useful to you all, and as ever, your feedback is really appreciated. We will be asking you to fill in a short feedback form over email, so please take a couple of minutes to help us with that, just so we can continue to make these webinars really valuable for the whole team and for the whole Business Pilot community as well. I can see that I've had a few questions come over to me already, so if you do want to ask anything, please leave your questions in the comments now. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Arwen. That was really good, really informative, lots of good information. Hope everyone's enjoyed that so far. So we have had a few questions come in so far, just a couple that I've had through on email, and then we have also had a couple through on the live channels. So the first one that's come in, which I'll hit you with first, Where do I set up notifications for low stock and allocation queries?
Okay, so I'll share my screen to show you that because it is through the admin menu. So let me just share my screen with you. Okay, so to set up your notifications, you just have to access your main menu and then go down to your admin menu. And you'll find this set up within your company and users. So if you click into your settings, any of your system notifications, this isn't just related to stock, this is where all of your system notifications will be set up, and you're looking for the stock level low email to be set up in there as well. Just a tip from me, it doesn't just have to be one individual as well. You can put like a dash or something in between it and then add any additional emails that you need in there as well. And then just remember to click update.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't think we're on the right screen with you. We're stuck on the dashboard screen at the moment.
Let me change it over.
Technical hitches for the first one. It's to be expected.
Are you looking at the main dashboard at the minute with the admin menu?
There you are. Yeah, there we are.
Okay, so as I was saying, with your company and users, and then if you just go down to your second one there, which is your settings, and then just at the very bottom here, you'll find your system notifications. So this applies to all of these prompts that happen in the system. So then you just have to go to your stock level low, and that'll be your email notification. And then you've got a stock allocation query email setting there as well. Just like I mentioned, if you just pop a dash in between any of these, you can put any additional email addresses in there as well if you need to.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Right. Okay. Next up, we've got what is the invoice date when allocating stock?
So the invoice date, that's going to be the date that you add in the cost. So ordinarily, if you were adding it in that day, that's why we would put in today's date. It's the date that you're adding in the cost.
Straightforward one.
Yeah. I can't say much more about that, to be honest.
Right, another one that's come in on email as well. How do I add a supplier in the stock area?
Okay, so if you're in the stock area, let me just take us into it. Can you see this okay?
Yeah, that's all good.
Great. So if you're in the stock area itself, just along the top here where we had our add stock item, raise a stock order, you've also got the add supplier button. That's going to open you up in your new contact page, and then you can just select, it will have supplier filled in here as well, and then you can fill in all of your supplier details. If you weren't in the stock area, you can also go through the normal process when you go into contacts and click on new contact. Just remember to change contact type to supplier, and that's how you set those up.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Okey-doke. Right, one we've had in on YouTube from Ian. Thank you, Ian. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Ian's asking, can raising of a stock item and sending a PO to a supplier be done in one action?
It unfortunately can't at the minute, Ian. It is something that we have on our ideas board. So it is something that people are asking for at the moment, but unfortunately not at the moment. That is part of the reason I included that segment about having that contract, just so you can email them outside of there. But unfortunately, it would be two separate actions as it stands at the moment. Okay.
All right. But we'll keep you updated on that one, Ian, for when that changes. We will let you know. Okay, I think that's it for questions, Arwen. We don't seem to have anything else coming through. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously it's our first one, and feedback, as you know, we love all feedback, good and bad. Please do share it with us. I'll be sending an email around to everyone later just to share the links. Just to share the links to the where you can catch up on the webinar. So everything's been recorded. It'll stay on Facebook. It'll stay on YouTube. We're also going to be adding it to the website in the knowledge base area as well. So I'll make sure that you've all got access to that. The next one that you can join us on is on Friday, the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. So, you know, maybe we need to get some little heart-shaped little boppers. Yeah, everybody wear red. Yeah. So that'll be midday on the 14th of February. And the topic for that one will be orders and supply product lists, which we know a lot of you guys are interested in setting up, just to make those little processes a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. So yeah, I think that's us for today. Thank you, Arwen. That's been
Thank
brilliant.
you all so much. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a lovely weekend and we'll see you all soon. Take care.
See you later.